The Treaty of Infinite Stars was supposed to end the thousand-year war between the Core Worlds Alliance and the Frontier Liberation Fleet. 90 species had sent their best diplomats to the neutral station orbiting Sanctuary Prime. For 6 months, they'd negotiated every clause, every reparation, every border adjustment. Ambassador Victoria Reeves represented humanity, a minor species that controlled only 3 systems but had somehow become instrumental in arranging these talks. She sat at the far end of the crystalline table, silent as always, while giants of galactic politics decided the fate of quintillions. High Chancellor Morvek of the Altarian hegemony was mid-speech, his tentacles gesturing dramatically. And thus the frontier terrorists must accept responsibility for their aggression. They will cede the disputed sectors, pay reparations of 40 trillion credits, and submit to alliance oversight for the next century. The frontier representatives erupted in protest, but Morvek continued. Furthermore, all minor species currently under frontier protection will be redistributed according to alliance needs. The humans, for instance, possess unique biological traits valuable for medical research. They will be relocated to. The sound of a chair scraping against metal silenced the room. Victoria Reeves stood up. Ambassador Reeves? Morvek's 3 eyes blinked in sequence. You have something to add? No. Victoria began walking toward the exit. Where are you going? Demanded Fleet Admiral Kratok of the Frontier. The negotiations are over, Victoria said without turning around. The room exploded in confusion. Secretary General Yilex, the neutral mediator, fluttered her crystalline wings. Ambassador, you can't simply leave. These talks. Victoria stopped at the door and turned. Every translator in the room struggled with the cold fury in her voice. 6 months. For 6 months, I've listened to you divide the galaxy like it's your personal property. You talk about peace while planning the next war. You negotiate the fate of species who aren't even at this table. She looked directly at Morvek. And now you're discussing humans like we're cargo to be redistributed. You're a minor species, Morvek said dismissively. 3 systems. No fleet to speak of. You should be grateful for our protection. Victoria laughed, a sound that made several delegates step back. Grateful? Let me explain something about humans, Chancellor. We spent our entire history fighting wars. We got so good at it that we nearly destroyed ourselves multiple times. We invented nuclear weapons when we barely had computers. We created biological weapons that could end our entire species. We perfected the art of mutual assured destruction before we even left our home system. She pulled out a small data pad. Then we chose peace, not because we had to, because we wanted to survive our own nature. But make no mistake, we remember how to war. Is that a threat? Kratok growled. It's a history lesson. You want to know why humanity has only 3 systems? Because we're not interested in empires. We're interested in survival. And right now, you're discussing our survival without us. She pressed her data pad. Every screen in the room displayed the same information, technical schematics that made the military officers present go pale. Those are designs for something we call a Nova bomb, Victoria explained casually. A weapon that can destabilize a star. We developed the theory a century ago. Never built one because we're not insane. But if you're planning to redistribute us for medical research, well, desperate people do desperate things. You're bluffing, Morvek sputtered. A minor species couldn't. We went from bronze swords to space flight in 4,000 years, Victoria interrupted. Most of you took 50,000. We're not minor, Chancellor. We're just quiet. She turned to address the entire room. Here's humanity's position. We reject any treaty that treats sapient beings as property. We reject any peace built on oppression. And we absolutely reject anyone deciding our fate without our consent. You'll start another war, Yilex pleaded. No, Victoria said. You'll start another war, because you've learned nothing from the last one. You're so focused on winning that you've forgotten why peace matters. She opened the door. Humanity withdraws from these negotiations. Any species that wants to discuss actual peace, not just a postponement of war, can contact us directly. But this, she gestured at the room, this is just powerful entities dividing spoils. If you leave, the talks collapse, Morvek shouted. Billions will die. Victoria paused. Billions are already dying while you argue over borders. The difference is, if these talks collapse, at least everyone will see them for what they really are, a farce. She walked out. Within an hour, 17 smaller species had also withdrawn. Within a day, the frontier fleet had followed. Within a week, even some core world members were reconsidering. 6 months later, new talks began, with every affected species given equal representation. They called it the Reeves Protocol.